With time, a seed becomes a tree, sheltering us. With time, a skill becomes a talent, empowering us. With time, a technology becomes a tool, enhancing us. By nature, time gives value to almost everything, yet the very thing our society gives value to, our money, loses value over time. This paradox warps our reality by defying the laws of nature, and it stems from the belief that $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow, meaning money must always lose value. We built our reality off of this model. Time value of money, we call it, but in reality, this is just dogma. Since we can keep making more of it, we end up destroying our own purchasing power. So we put it in stocks, put it in bonds, put it in land, put it in funds, put it in crypto, put it in gold. But we are not oracles, so what do we know? We know that it's hard to get by. We know some people may never retire. Is time value of money a lie since it discounts the monetary value of our time? If time is money, how are they moving in different directions? We're working longer for less, we end up just giving away our freedom. Give up liberty for policies, give up our agency to the authorities, because when our foundation is built on complexity, we simplify humans by giving up our humanity. Reality check, we've strayed too far from the truth. The world economy's a wreck when 1 + 1 no longer equals to 2. And if life's created from the truth, along the way something got screwed, and we let our own dogma subjectify value. We divorce action from consequence. We defy the law of physics. We make scarcity infinite. We disregard the language of mathematics. So our systems are built in a fallacy. Our society's based in a fantasy. In the absence of truth, we're living in the shadows of our own reality. And that's the root problem. Man-made rules can be broken. As our trust crumbles, so does the progress of our civilization. But one thing remains constant. No one can cheat nature. So why not use it to architect a stronger base layer? The most beautiful buildings engineered based on these consequences. Natural law drives rigor needed to build something enduring, and compromising on principles that accounts for the flaws. Because when our lives are at stake, the gravity of truth cannot be ignored. So if our monetary systems were designed like structures, it would embody energy and matter, so the money itself matters. An unbreakable limit enforced by costliness of creation ensures the structure holds value for many generations. A rule-based system governed by maths builds a transparent ecosystem that can self-error correct. With no one in charge, no words are taken as fact. Only work from computation can actualize truth of timestamps, and like water flowing off a cliff down the path of gravity, computational energy makes time flow one way only. It is this irreversibility which gives value to our money by upholding consensus and scarcity to create one shared reality. Now the map is the territory. Now we're working with high fidelity. Now money is truthfully time and energy bound by finality. Now we have the ability to manifest each of our dreams and build a world that is much more reflective of all of our needs. And that's the purpose of money. Merely a tool to shape our reality, merely a function to harness and express individuality, just a way to live freely, just a means for possibility. Because when we build on integrity, we enhance the beauty of humanity. The most beautiful societies are built from diversity of our thoughts that come to life when we're empowered individually. Because when our money tomorrow is worth more than today, we shift from predicting to creating the future ourselves. And when our money grows in value, we grow thoughtful in how we use it. Natural law drives rigor needed to fund something enduring, something truly worth it, something that pushes the sky's limit, something only possible when our real value and consequence exist in boundless virtual dimensions. Imagine potential creations, fueled by monetary life force, lasting for many generations. We will venture into new territories and unleash these possibilities once we learn to embrace the truth of our reality.
Absolutely love that video. Good morning, everybody. Bitcoin solves all those problems. I remember 5 years ago retiring. Seems like the other day. I wish this upon other people. I wish they have the opportunity that I have. Life should be easier for everybody. It shouldn't be harder every year that goes by. Les, yes, sir. Been watching for a minute. Love the calls you put in. Thanks, man. Dumb Dotton, what's up, buddy? Good morning, everybody. We got a lot to talk about today. Not that we got a lot to talk about. I want to talk about why this rally is basically guaranteed, and why it's just a matter of time before everything goes up. Chicken Genius, my buddy over here, he had a post that I thought was a really good one. Summed up a lot of it. There's more to it than this. I'll probably throw in a few caveats. But he said, everything in macro is screaming up only. Tariff deal done with China. Not just done with China. Howard Lutnick said that we have 10 other countries that we're going to be finalizing shortly. The Genius Act is going to get approved. We've got Mr. Wonderful, the guy from Shark Tank, saying that once the market structure bill is passed, trillions of dollars are going to flow into the market. Ori, thank you for the 690 and something. I need to analyze our Palantir. Palantir, I don't even know how to analyze Palantir, man. I thought it was going to top out a long time ago. It just keeps going up. It's ridiculously priced, but it's also a badass company with, again, I think, a majorly awesome thing happening, which is they're working to protect the United States and also make us more efficient at everything we do in our business. So I love Palantir. I think it's overvalued, but that doesn't keep it from going up. It is slowing down, though. But I can look at it. Give me some time. So Genius Act, market structure bill, and then again, Bitcoin treasury bill, probably coming after those things. But not even just that. It's he didn't even put it in here, but the big beautiful bill. And the big beautiful bill gives us, lower tax on tips and overtime and benefits for Social Security. I don't know if it's going to be no tax on Social Security. It looks like some of that might be changing. But corporate tax breaks that extend the current tax incentives, but also lower them by another 4 or 5%, and just a number of other things that incentivize business and money to come into the United States of America. We've got the short-term debt extension. We've got the SLR easing. Stealth QE, not QE, roughly $200 billion, and we're going to talk about that because, again, the supplemental leverage ratio, the fact that is getting adjusted is more huge than people realize. It is the creator of bubbles. The SLR ratio being modified allows allows banks to be able to buy more U.S. treasuries and then not have to hold capital against them, which basically means that these guys are going to buy a shit ton of treasuries and they're going to start lending a lot more. We've got oil down. We've got the war tensions in the Middle East coming to an end, and the Abraham Accords picking up, and looking like we're probably going to have one of the most peaceful times in history within that region. We've got China still weak, but again, signing trade deals because they need it. They need it badly, and they're going to stimulate like crazy. All the money printers are going burr around the world. We're going to have easing from the Fed. And again, the dollar's down. I talked a little bit about this, but having a weaker dollar is great for manufacturing. It's great for us getting our exports out there, which again is another objective of this president. And we've got gold down, war tensions easy. Like these are just a few. This isn't all of it, but this is really beautiful. Short-term holder net position changes. If you look, you can see how, well, I don't know if this isn't the best representation, so I'm going to skip it. But again, he's got a bunch of charts in here. I think we're getting ready to launch, and we'll talk more about why. Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about Bitcoin today, guys. A lot about Bitcoin. Got my little money bin post over here. Got Tom Lee reposting my targets for Bitcoin last night. I love Tom. He's a good dude. We're actually going to watch a fun strap video here in a minute. Don't tell Tom. I'm kidding. You can tell him. But we're going to watch one of his videos here where he talks about what's going on as of last night in the markets. There's another one over here from Sean. I don't know. He talks about Galaxy is the one to watch. If you guys are up for it, maybe we'll watch that too. And again, I'm not going to do this all the time. Tom's my buddy, and he doesn't seem to mind me doing this once every a while. But I mean, these are services that people pay $250 a month for if you do the crypto one and you do his main service. So with FS Insight. So I can't give it away all the time. But yeah, let's get back to it. So I posted this. There's a very short period of time for people to get in on Bitcoin treasuries. Why? Treasuries are the primary theme of this cycle, and every cycle has one or more themes. If you don't believe me, look at what MSTR has done thus far in comparison to everything else. But why is time running out? I strongly believe the train will have left the station after MicroStrategy's earnings. I don't know if those are the 5th or the 7th of August, but we basically have a month, right? And this could get front run. I said, why? The earnings report is just going to be so epic that Wall Street cannot talk about it. This could be one of the greatest, depending on how we end the month in the next several days here at the beginning of next week. This could be one of the best earnings quarters of any company in history. And I think that's a pretty big deal. Oh, don't worry about Jerome Powell. None of that matters. He's going to be replaced soon enough. Scott Bessent's going to take both roles. He'll be the secretary and the Fed. But yeah, so I said, but why is time running out? I strongly believe that the train's left the station after the earnings. The earnings report is just going to be so epic. I said, so don't diddle around too long. You might miss out. And I threw a couple of miners in here, or Bitcoin treasuries in here. And again, mining is getting a narrative buff right now. There's a number of miners that did well yesterday, with iron being at the top of the list, or at least near the top of the list, because of its HPC play / Bitcoin narrative. And I think it's a leader in the mining sector. But again, CleanSpark did okay. It was up 2%. CleanSpark, guys, is up like, I think 30% from what its low was on the 23rd. So in like 4 days, people aren't paying attention to this. I think they're sleeping on it. Let me just pull this over real quick here. But again, Iron is just a much sexier name right now. I'm not going to lie. And people have been disappointed by some of these others so much. And the worst of the worst are the miners that are skyrocketing the most. That and companies like Iron and others. But yeah, 28.47% just since when? Since the 23rd. So again, 4 days, almost 25%. Nobody talking about it. Everybody sleeping on it. Nobody cares. And again, Iron. What has Iron done over that same amount of time? Iron's up a sick fucking amount if you go back further to April 9th. If you go back a little over the shorter range here, let's see here, closer, a comparable range, or at least something closer to what we saw here with CleanSpark around June 23rd. Again, this has been stronger, but it's up 37%. So still winning from the bottom here. From the bottom for it's up 162%. It's done really, really well. I'll probably sell a little more today. I made 35% on some of my Iron calls yesterday alone. So it was just a crazy amount of returns. It's probably going to get better. I'm very excited. DuckTales the GIF nailed it. Dude, I'm not going to lie. I love DuckTales, and Scrooge McDuck was my hero as a kid. I grew up very poor. So seeing this rich fucker swimming around in a money bin and being able to do anything he ever wanted whenever he wanted to do it was a dream of mine as a child. I idolized that man. Probably too much. Probably too much. I gave too much importance to money, and only after retiring and having money did I realize its true value. But I gave it a little too much. But at the same time, it was a goal, and I'm there now. And it's been a nice one. It's been a nice ride. I can't complain at all. All right, let's keep going here, though. Let's keep going. So, yeah, I think Bitcoin treasuries are going to be an amazing opportunity. I would highly encourage everybody to pay attention to them. If you want to make a bunch of money in the future, Bitcoin treasuries are going to be a great way to do it. Oh, let me go back to, I need to get back in where I wanted to be. Actually, before we go there, I want to gloat a little bit because my boy Tom Lee reposted me again. I love the man. He's a really good dude. He's just a good person. Yeah, anyway, so he posted on here. He just did the finger down, Bitcoin is the way, my friends, and he reposted my chart. Now, don't get me wrong. You guys have heard from what I've said. Around here, the 150, 160 range, I'm probably going to be out of the vast majority of my leverage plays and multipliers because I think, again, it's anywhere from $10 to $20 million for me, and that's a good number. And maybe I'll be an IBIT. I don't know what I'll do. Or maybe I'll just start dumping hard into Tesla because it's getting fucked so much, ridiculously. And maybe I'll slow roll it for a while. I don't know. But I do think that there's still a potential for going to 185, 200, 280 to 330,000. And then again, if you're Josh Mandel, he's no pussy. $444,000. So he reminded me of that yesterday. He reminded me of the fact that my target he's like, what did he say to me? He said, what is this? The price is right, because I said my target is closer to, you know what? I think it's in here. Let me see. He's in here somewhere. And there's Luca too. Thanks, Luca, for posting. What did he say? What did he say? He's fucking in here somewhere. I don't know. I'll find him. But he essentially said that 280 to 330 isn't a real call, and that his is a real call at 444,000. I don't know why. He feels some like competitive thing there or something. I don't know. He's got way more credentials than I do. So he probably wins hands down. Anyway. But yeah, so I love that. I love getting the post out from my boy Tom Lee. He is a good man, and one I appreciate a lot for all of his support over the years. Let me see here real quick. Let's get caught up with chat. I need to actually increase the size because I can't see shit. Thank you to the 630 people that are here or more. Appreciate you guys for coming in today. Let's just get we got DuckTales. My iron calls are up 1,000%. Enjoying it. Mine aren't up that much. You must have got a better price than me. I probably got in too soon. I'm so guilty of that. Mine are only up. Is my screen gonna refresh here? 1 second. I'm just looking. Got to refresh my Ally account. I hope Mandel wins. I do too. I told him that. I was like, I'm rooting for you, man. I'm rooting for the 444,000. I'm only up 586%. So damn you. Good job, guys. I find you guys routinely take my advice, but you do it at better timing than I do. So congrats. Or at least some of you do. Mountain Off Grid. The hardest thing I had to do yet is sell some iron for huge profits and buy treasuries, learning to take profits. Yeah, taking profits is hard, man. And again, I posted something about iron today. I actually think it's still going up. So I showed you the measured move here, right? But again, I'm nibbling too. You're crazy not to. So let's just call this cup, right? And then the handle. And then a retest, which also went back to the fib. And then also beautifully, I mean, this is just such a beautiful technical move. I should have added more to my calls. Tom Nash is a fan too, Jesse. I love Tom. Tom's a good dude. But if you look here, you can see how we just tested that resistance, how he grinded in here perfectly between this fib level, and then a retest of the cup and handle. The measured move for the cup and handle, conservatively, is like right here, right? It's like right here. So I did a post earlier and I said, hey guys, around the 17-ish range, and I'm probably being too conservative. Let me just move it. I'm like around the 17. So we have our first stop here around 1450. That's probably another good place to take some profit. I just nibble a little bit on the way up because we could stop here and then get something weird where it's like a inverse head and shoulder. I don't think we're going to though. I actually think we go higher, and I think we could get to the 17 plus range because of that measured move. And maybe we take a break there. I do still think, though, that this thing has additional upside on top of that, probably higher than this. I actually think the peak of the cycle for this one, assuming it doesn't have some crazy blowout, could be as high as in the 40s, which would give it a 220% increase from where we are in pre-market today. So iron could do well, man. And my buddy Mike Alfred, who was my enemy at one point, it's weird how things work in this game. But I blocked him a long time ago. I don't remember why I was pissed at him. I think he upstaged me with his portfolio, which was like 5-6 times the size of it. And I thought he was being a dick. So I blocked him after we started arguing back and forth. But now we're friends. We're cool. We're cool. You gotta be able to chill with people, right? Plus, I'm not taking myself as seriously as I used to, which is kind of nice. Robbie. Jesse just joined. If you already covered it, it's all good. But curious if you have a Coinbase chart. I don't, but we can try and look at that a little bit later. Coinbase is one where it can do well. Robinhood can do well. Coinbase can do well. But it's just such a large cap already. Maybe it doubles, in my opinion. I don't know. It could go higher. You never know. Don't sleep on BTQQF. Which one is that? There's so many. Oh, quantum encryption software play. When it gets uplisted to NASDAQ, will fly. All right. I might take a look at it. BGZ, are you out of Bitcoin treasuries at 160K? Probably a lot of it. Probably a lot of it. I mean, some of them I might be out of before that. Some of these are going to scream, and they're going to be laggards and leaders. That's why I'm trying to have some diversification from what I believe to be the top plays and the ones that have the best risk to reward. So some of them I'll be completely out, maybe before 160, maybe at 140, maybe at 120. It just depends on how much it runs. If I get a 10x on some of these, I might take that out and then diversify that into other things. It's just nice to lock in profits. And then also, again, the way these markets work, guys, we're going to get a shitcoin season. It's just not going to be the way it usually is. But here's what it is on a normal cycle. It's a bunch of different shitcoins that people get excited about, and then they pump, right? But this time, it's going to be a lot less shitcoins, maybe Solana, Ethereum, some other stuff, maybe some other stragglers. But the bulk of it, I think, is going to be Bitcoin treasuries. And then it's going to be some miners, too. Because people are going to talk up the miners. They got bags to pump. That's how shit works. So, and plus, again, the earnings with MicroStrategy, I think, roughly 5 weeks from now, less than 5 weeks from now, are going to be huge. So we have 5 weeks until really crazy upside. Concilium getting wrecked again today, is it? Might buy more, actually. What is it down today? I think Smarter Web Company's getting wrecked too. Oh, you know what? I should pull this over instead of just looking at it on my screen. Keep forgetting there's people here. Which one? Are we open on Coin? Is that that must be what you're looking at? Coin's open today. Let me move this out of the way. Just zoom in a little bit here. Yeah, you're right. Wow, this is fucking crazy, actually. Is that where we're at right now? That's nuts. So Coincilium is officially down. And don't get me wrong, it was operating at a high NAV anyway. It is officially down 81%. I'm going to add today. So I'll probably end up maybe putting another 30 to 40 in this one today. And I'm going to try and see if I can get Smarter Web Company too, guys. I got to get some Smarter Web. It's just required. I think Smarter Web is getting hit as well. Let me look over here. And then we're getting a little bit of a hit on MetaPlanet in the Japanese market. It was down 1.26. I don't know what it is in Germany. Let me just check real quick here. In Germany, is this live already? I can't tell. You know what? Let's look over here. Let's see what MetaPlanet is. MetaPlanet live already in Germany? Yes, it is. Okay. So yeah, I should just look here actually. Down 0.68 in Germany. Down 1.26 it was in Japan. In regular markets, it looks like after hours it's down 0.81% at 1478 yen. So this is getting hit too, but it's bottoming, and I love that because this one's going to bottom and then the others are going to start to bottom too. I don't even know if I can buy it, the Smarter Web Company, because it says on my ally that they've locked it for OTC, but I'm going to try and call them today and see if I can get some. Because I really want to. It's just such a great buy. But yeah, so MetaPlanet's down just a little bit. MetaPlanet's actually faring pretty well, which I think is a good sign of what's going to happen here with some of these others. Today's probably the down day. And I actually think we get a bounce into it. But yeah, I'm going to buy some more Coincilium today because it's down. It dropped 82% from its high. And this is a beautiful flush out. It could go lower. You can see a volume. Well, let me see it. There's more here. This thing's got a whole history. Let's go to the weekly. But here's the thing that's kind of good from where it's dropped is 21 cents or some shit. Now it's at 23. And that's USD. It can get down to 17, and that's about it, man, because you hit so much volume around that time frame. And these other times, these guys, I mean, this is 2021, the peak of the bull market. And this is back in, what is this? 2016. I don't even know what this company was doing back then. So, but this time is different. This time is different for this peak because this time they're buying Bitcoin and they're doing it at an aggressive rate. I would like to see them get a bunch more Bitcoin today. What's my price target for MetaPlanet? We can talk about that in a little bit. I think 8,000 yen is achievable. And right now we're at, less than 1,500. So I'm pretty bullish on MetaPlanet, honestly. Yeah, I'm bullish on it. I think it could do really well. And again, I think these others will do well too. I think we're early, guys. I think we're early to this treasury game. I think a lot of people aren't paying attention at all to Bitcoin treasuries, even in this space. I don't think a lot of them are paying attention to it yet, and I think there's a lot of money to be made. But let's move on. We want to talk about Bitcoin. I can't buy. Let's see. What's your price target for Concilium and Smarter Web Cycle? It varies. We can talk about those a little bit later, though. I don't want to go into all that. I want to go into the bigger picture stuff right now. ASST is back at ass levels. Is that one starting to go up? Let's see here. ASST is up 2.51% in pre-market. That one is also dropped like 75%. So these things are pretty flushed out, and that's why I'm adding to them, because I think this is the time you buy 5 weeks before MicroStrategy earnings, before people see the power of Bitcoin, before the Genius Act gets passed, before the market structure gets passed, before a Bitcoin treasury in the United States gets officially added to and established, like in a real way, with maybe some kind of purchasing schedule. I mean, they're not gonna offer that out. They're not gonna call their shots on that. But there's so many good things that are sitting in front of us. Again, before this SLR ratio gets completed, we even got Michael Howell guys talking about how the global liquidity cycle has been extended, and we'll talk about that too. But let's listen real quickly to Kevin O'Leary. It looks like it's 54 seconds talking about how trillions are going to come in once the market structure bill passes after the Genius Act.
I love the idea of innovation. The money center banks have been sitting on their hands for years, crapping on the crypto industry, but it's not about Bitcoin. Nothing to do with Bitcoin. It's digital payment systems. That's the potential. That's the amazing opportunity we have here. Now, the reason that will be important and why we'll get price appreciation on Bitcoin is the minute that happens, it will signal the move to the next act, the Market Infrastructure Act. And why that matters to everybody in this room is we will finally determine, is Bitcoin a commodity or a security? And when that is determined and regulated, Katie bar the doors, $1 trillion will come and index that asset. Let's all hope that happens while we're all alive here. Anyways.
It will. We're getting the market structure bill. We'll get the Genius Act. We're going to get the big, beautiful bill. We're going to get the Genius Act. We're going to get the market structure bill. And I think all those things are happening in less than 2 months. And that is rocket fuel for what we're looking for, guys. It's rocket fuel. And you should be excited about it. My new friend, old friend, kind of a friend, Mike Alfred, he's talking about how iron price on June 5th was $8.95. On the 26th, it was $13.60. Fundamentals matter, he said. And Cantor Fitzgerald, again, this is Howard Lutnick's company, raises iron price target to $24 and says the Bitcoin mining business is worth more than where shares trade today. 24 would be a nice number. I'm not going to hate that. I still have well over 300,000, I think, in calls. Right around 300. I must have sold another lot of 100 contracts. So I've got 1,000 contracts left, up 37%, it says, yesterday alone. And then again, they're up another 3.5% almost today. So that's maybe another 10% this morning. So I'm probably at 300,000 now, including the little bump this morning. But this has a ways to go, and a lot of money is going to be made along the way. And I'm probably going to use that money, nibble off, and buy me some more Bitcoin treasury companies. That's what I'm going to do. That's it. That's where I'm at. You guys want to talk about Genius? Up 55% yesterday. Yeah, there's always the hot next one. I don't know. I'll probably keep track of it, but I don't know if I want to jump into too many more. I kind of want to buy the ones that have already retraced a bunch and that still have strong growth patterns. Also, if you guys, I've lost a site that I had, a URL that allowed me to be able to look at a bunch of different Bitcoin treasury companies and kind of look at their accumulation schedule and uncheck some and check others. I don't know what it was, and I lost it. If you guys have that, let me know. I do have this one over here, which I like. Nope, not that one. I got so many websites. This one, but the problem is, and there's a few others. There's the Bitcoin treasury site. I love that one. It doesn't have a great comparison tool that I'm aware of. But it does have, I submitted this yesterday. I was trying to update them on Concilium. But it does have some tools where you can actually go in here and get a good idea of the buying schedule. So if you guys haven't seen this, if you go into MetaPlanet, it not only shows you the rankings, but it shows you a lot of other data that pertains to it. And then it shows you some charts too, right? Like BTC holdings over time. You can compare that against stock versus BTC dynamics. And again, it shows you the history here too. So it's got helpful information It's got some helpful information in it, I think, that's good. But again, I'm looking for that one where I can see the visual comparisons between them. If you guys know what site I'm talking about, please let me know because I lost it. Metaplanet adds 1,234, bringing total BTC holdings to 12,345. Is this a signal? Yes, it is. It's a deliberate signal. Yeah, we're going to talk about all that. We'll go through Metaplanet. We'll go through Smarter Web Company. We'll probably go through a bunch of these other treasuries. We got a lot to talk about and the U.S. economy. But let's get through Bitcoin first. Would you use profits from Metaplanet, SWC, and more to buy some MSTR, MSTX? I don't know. Probably not. Probably not MSTX. I wouldn't take something that's leverage and throw it into something else that's leveraged to X play. But I might put it into MSTR or something else that they have, one of their other products, as more of like a longer term hold. We'll see. I'm actually kind of interested in TLT. I think TLT is going to start breaking out here. That might be a good place to put some of my cash to earn some interest. That or just a regular money market. Polly says, hey, Jesse, can you look at SBET chart for the next 3 months? For the next 3 months. Yeah, I can do that. It's up 0.2%. It was down 1.65% yesterday. We'll look at that stuff in a little bit. Publicly traded backed holdings says it's going to use $1 billion from shelf offering to buy Bitcoin. Just another $1 billion of Bitcoin being bought. That's cool. Jelly says this should be fun. Higher low today, and then we push for new all-time highs. Bring it on. I 100% agree. The Bitcoin historian says Bhutan's Bitcoin reserve is now worth 40% of the national GDP. As far as countries go, these guys make El Salvador look like a bunch of pussies. This is badass. It's super cool. And I don't know how yesterday, guys, but somehow I ended up making $150,000 yesterday. Just insane. I think the webpage was the Smarter Investment Guy. Yeah, no, that's where I think I was. The Smarter Investment Guy, and this is the BTC race. Let me go back, though. Maybe there's more to this, and I'm missing it. You might be right. Let me just go back here. Let's see what he has on his main site. That was the accumulation. There's a Webley tracker he has, but I don't know what Webley is. BTC share, NAV, or MNAV, NAV, days to cover. This is his site. The Smarter Investment Guy, it looks like his site defaults for SWC, the Smarter Web Company. And there's the BTC accumulation race. And yeah, you can like do some of these, but no, this one was much bigger that I was talking about. It had like a bunch of them. You bought the dip on Liquid for a 35% gain? Yeah, I did good on Liquid yesterday too. I did good. I think it was around that. It was like was it up 35% yesterday? Yeah, that was cool. Between Iron and some of the other miners going up, Mara, I made 35 grand yesterday. CleanSpark, I made 15,600, or I'm closer to 20 probably. And then SMCI, I made 30K. Iron, I made over 100K. And then Liquid, I made a bunch of money too. It was a good day. But yeah, Bhutan showing people how it's done. Just amazing. Just in, the selling in Smarter Web Company from an ATM are offerings done to buy more Bitcoin. Yeah, they're totally buying more Bitcoin. Peanut butter jelly time. Adam Back said, like clockwork, Bitcoin's floor price grinding higher. I agree. I love Adam Back. He's reposted me a bunch of times, and he is awesome. Anybody who's got cypherpunk cryptographer privacy eCash in their profile description is a badass. He's like one of the original OGs. Last night, Bitcoin Treasury Company announced they purchased 293 Bitcoin for a total of $43 million. Is it Canadian? I don't know. This acquisition marks the official launch of BTCT. This is a new Canadian company. So now we have like 3 or 4 in Canada, growing by the day. Are you worried about your CleanSpark November calls? No, I'm worried about my July ones. They're toast. Dino, the next. No, I'm not. I'm in $20 strikes, guys. I'm in $20 strikes for September and November calls for CleanSpark. I've got $250,000, actually $270,000 in them. And CleanSpark is already at 11. So am I worried about going up at least 90% sometime in the next like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months? No, I'm not remotely worried about that. No, we'll go much higher than that. I mean, it'll probably go to $30 or $40. So no, I'm not worried about that. I actually think I'll make up all my money and I'll end up closing in a profit for CleanSpark and Mara, which is amazing because I've been in some of those calls for 2 years. Dino says the next MicroStrategy earnings will be taught in business schools in the future. Yes, I agree with that. Thank you, Thomas. And then again, Yan says, well, 15 to 20 billion in unrealized gains will make Q2 earnings of MicroStrategy the most epic earnings in Wall Street history. Shh, don't tell anyone. Mike Alfred, oh, that was the Kenner Fitzgerald, with new research note saying Core Scientific could be worth 30 plus per share to CoreWeave in a full acquisition. So there's a note that CoreWeave was looking to buy Core Scientific, and if they couldn't buy them, they were going to look towards, like I think Mike said, Cypher or one of these other mining companies. I think that's great. Again, this is the starting narrative and the starting firing gun for getting people interested in miners again, and it's awesome. Mountain Off Grid says sold for a 2x Solana fund. Yeah, that might be fun. That might not be a bad play. I might end up adding something to something like that. David said, Galaxy moving up in the CoreWeave news. What do you think, Jesse? Yeah, so I've heard about Galaxy being involved too. You know what? Let's do something. This is actually a good segue for what I wanted to do. Let's listen real quickly before we get down the rest of the Bitcoin hole. It's almost 7:30. We've got 3 minutes until 7:30. Let's look over here and see what economic data we're going to have. We'll see where the fear and greed index is. We'll see what our chance of a rate cut is. Yeah, so in a few minutes here, we're going to have that data. So we're probably going to listen to Tom Lee because we're going to get personal spending, PCE, a bunch of stuff. And let's look where the fear and greed is on the stock market. So we're only at a 62, so we're just a little bit out of neutral. Not crazy. We love that. Let's jump over here real quick. I'm going to look at the CME Fed Watch tool, see how things are sitting on that. And then we'll listen to Tom Lee for a second. Did you talk about RG calls? No, I haven't talked about them at all. I'm not super excited about RG calls over the very, very short term. I'm getting there, though. Their chart looks better. Remind me later. So July, we only have a 21% chance of a Fed rate cut. It's really looking like it's drifting to September, where we have a 73% chance plus of a 1 rate cut and an even 18.5 for 2. So it looks like September is really the big time where we're going to end up cutting, and I think that's okay. Mikhail Carlson, would you add your MetaPlanet position? I did yesterday. If you guys are subscribed to me on X, you know what I'm doing for my positioning. Real quickly, let's go to Fundstrat, though, and listen to what he has to say.
Good evening, FS Insight family and community. Today is Wednesday, June 26th, and this is our macro minute. The S&P 500 hit an all-time high today, 6146.52 versus 6147.43. I mean, 1 point. So it's, in my opinion, close enough for government work. And yet it's not entirely a surprise because, as you know, we've been looking at Bitcoin as a leading indicator for the S&P, and Bitcoin hit an all-time high on January 20th. 1 month later, the S&P hit an all-time high. Bitcoin hit a new all-time high on May 22nd, and the S&P now hit an all-time high again 1 month later. So as you can see, it's basically the same trade, just 1 month apart. Now, we expected the S&P to have a V-shaped bounce because, as you know, that waterfall decline was one of the fastest ever. And we had pointed out that when you look at all the waterfall declines since 1932, unless there was a recession, and we don't have a recession here, the recoveries are V-shaped, and that's what we are seeing today. In fact, it's turned more into a face ripper. From a fundamental perspective, tomorrow is May core PCE. The street's looking for 0.12.
Sorry, real quickly. Alex Garcia, S&P almost at all-time high. It actually did break, or it hit a new all-time high intraday trading yesterday, and in pre-market, it looks like it's probably going to blow through it and set a new all-time high. So, yeah, doing pretty good. PCE data, did we get it? We're probably close enough. Let's refresh real quick, and then we'll get back to Thomas Lee. Don't like to interrupt him too much, but we are seconds away from some PCE. Somebody loves their PCE. Yeah, okay, that's what I said. All right, let's refresh. 1 second here. When did I become a YouTuber? That's so fucking weird. So strange, you know? I'm still trying to wrap my head around retirement, let alone YouTube. All right. So core PCE price index month over month, 0.2%. That is slightly higher, 0.1% higher. Personal income month over month, negative 0.4%. That is lower, weaker. Probably alludes to more of a Fed rate cut. Personal spending month over month, negative 0.1% versus 0.1% expected for consensus and forecast. And again, personal income was expected at 0.3 and 0.4. Negative 0.4 is quite a bit different. Let's look at the yearly, though. The yearly is also a really good thing to look at because it gives you usually just a better, more reasonable number instead of the month-to-month data, which can be noisy. Price index was 2.3%. Consensus was actually at that, and forecast was slightly lower. So that doesn't appear to be too crazy. Core PCE price index year over year was 2.7, which is a slight tick up from the previous. But again, consensus was 2.6. So it's not a huge amount. I'd say this isn't that bad, even though the personal income and spending could be better. That could be definitely negative. I'd say PCE is pretty much in line, slightly above. Nothing too much to worry about, but let's keep an eye on Bitcoin's price action in the bottom right corner. And I might actually do this. I might just zoom in a little bit more. I'll probably do daily on this one. Let's do this. We already got the bigger view. You guys know the bigger view. Let's look at this view and see how we end up doing, if we're going to get a breakout or not. Yeah, it's a rounding difference. It's not that big. This data isn't that horrible. We have some more. Let's see, more coming out at 9. We got Michigan consumer sentiment data. We'll see what that looks like. But again, consumer sentiment data. You guys know my opinions on that. Let's go back over to Fundstrat though. Or you know what? Real quickly, we haven't Rick Schmantelli'd in a while. Let's get Ricky Bobby over here and see what he has to say about it. See if there's any revisions or anything. I'd be curious to see that because I don't always get that at a quick glance.
Personal income and spending numbers for May, plus the Fed's favorite inflation gauge, PCE data, treasuries. Rick Santelli. Let's do it, Rick. Tell us what you got.
Yes. May income, spending, and all the inflation numbers. And there are surprises here. Personal income, which really has been quite strong throughout 2025, takes a bit of a hit here, down 0.4. We were looking for a number up 3 to 0.4. This would be the first negative number going all the way back to what? September of 21. And that's where we comp this to, Sep of 21, when we were minus 0.6. Now, if we look at spending was down 0.1. We were expecting up 0.1.
Hey, wait, let me hold on. I need to look at something. I think I might have been borderline retarded. OnlyFans for retirement. Hey, man, if it gets you there, who gives a shit? I ain't judging. PCE price index. So what was that again? Month over month, slightly higher. Yeah, no, I'm not being retarded. I'm being retarded thinking I was being retarded, which is kind of retarded. Here we go.
That equals where we started the year at down 0.1. To find a bigger negative number, you're going in the Wayback Machine to Feb of 21. Now, if we look at real spending, of course, it's going to take a bit of a ding. Question is how much? Down 0.3. We're expecting this to be near unchanged. This would be the second negative number on real real spending. We started out the year down 0.5% before we really jumped up in March to up 0.7 to somewhat negate it. So down 0.3 would be comping to the very beginning of this year. Now to the inflation data. If we look at the PCE on a month-over-month basis, exactly as expected, up 0.1. In the rearview mirror, up 0.1. The best that we had this year was unchanged in March. If we look at the year-over-year PCE, hotter than expected, 0.1 hotter than the rearview. Stickiness here, and this stickiness has remained for quite a long time. We have made progress. Things aren't really necessarily getting worse, although a couple of tenths here and there on revisions. But I guess the real issue, to take a step back, is it still doesn't look like 2% is in the crosshairs, and that's the Fed's, amount.
It doesn't matter, though. The Fed previously, Jerome Powell said historically that the 2% wasn't a goal that had to be accomplished overnight. It was trying to ensure that the trend was getting there, and he's going to get replaced anyway. So we don't care. We do not care. All right, let's real quickly. I'm going to move this back over, and then we're going to get back to Fundstrat and listen to what he's trying to say. Let's see. Actually, go back just to Harris, since he's talking about core PCE here. I'd be curious to see how right he was. Let's go back just to here, and we'll listen from here.
into a face ripper. From a fundamental perspective, tomorrow is May core PCE. The street's looking for 0.12. After May, the comps do get easier. So I think this is the
So he's saying after May, it's going to get better.
toughest month.
That it was our toughest month. And we just got it, guys, and it was 0.1 higher year over year. And this was our toughest month.
And from a strategy perspective, I do think it feels more like a new bull market than late cycle. The investment outlook is better today than it was in February.
All right, I do want to listen to Tom say the rest of this. Eric said Powell's setting up to cut rates aggressively. I don't know if he's going to cut rates aggressively. I think it's going to be slower, and I think that's okay. Kirby Tech says Rick gets excited at the sunrise. Dude, I wouldn't want to. His heart rate has to be through the roof. Can you imagine? Just when he opens his mouth, his heart rate probably goes higher. I'm actually amazed he's still alive. I thought he was going to die years ago. I did want to show this real quickly, though. We have the dollar weakening even more. This is exactly what Trump wants, guys. This is what I voted for. If you look over here, since the beginning of the year, the dollar was really high. People thought it was going to go higher. That was crushing global economies. It was just really, really shit. No, probably September cuts. Maybe July. If we get a surprise July, just on, hey, I think things are okay and inflation isn't that bad, that might be perceived as good. But I think it's September, really. But look at this. We went from 110, where everybody was worried, and this was just going to destroy the global economy because the dollar's strength is bad. The dollar milkshake theory is not something you want to have play out. And since then, we went from $1.10, and now we're down to 97 and dropping. This is good stuff, guys. This is the kind of stuff that you want to see. And I want to show something else real quick here before we get on the rest of this. We're still looking on the 10-year, guys. This still looks like rollover potential for me, and I'm still signaling that I expect it to go lower. I don't know if I expect it to go as low as I had thought historically, but I think the lower 3% range is probably very doable. I don't think it does the full measured move. But not just that. If we look over here at the 2-year, is it the 2-year? Am I in the 2-year? Maybe I'm not even in it. No, I'm not. And it says 30. Let me go over here real quick. Let's do this. US 2-year. Okay, for now. If you look at this, I mean, this thing is falling down pretty hard. I mean, if you look over here, 5% roughly, 5.2%, all the way down to 3.74. So shorter dated yields are already starting to contract, and I think that's a really healthy thing for the market. And I think the longer ends are going to get better as people have more faith in the U.S. government. And I think we're starting to see some of that in TLT, but God, I hope we don't see it soon, because I would love to see this thing still just grind over here for the remainder of the year. I would like there to still be concerns about the government needing to repay its debt. I would like to climb that wall of worry and not have a breakout, because I think it would be so much fun to be able to use this as one of the things that I buy after making a bunch of money off of Bitcoin, and having potential upside. I don't know if it actually goes all the way up to there anymore, but potential upside of maybe 27% plus the divvy. I'd take that. I'd take a 4% dividend and 27% upside for my capital, for my cash. I think that would be really cool. And I think way too many people are writing off TLT, the 20-year, because they think the government isn't going to be able to get their shit in control. But I think with their aggressiveness towards crypto and all the pro-growth stuff and Bitcoin, I think it's actually going to surprise a lot of people, and we're going to do a lot better than they would have thought. So I'm excited about it, even though others might not be. Powell's testimony, he said tariffs were the barrier. Yeah, he's an idiot, though. And he's not going to be around soon. We're going to appoint a shadow Fed in like the next month. So people just won't be paying as much attention to him anymore. And I think that's okay. I think a lot of people are realizing that the Fed is almost pointless, and that the Fed, remember when he lowered rates and then the bond yields went up, didn't do much, did it? It didn't do anything really positive. The market does not give a fuck about the Fed anymore. They don't give a fuck. And now yields are falling on the 10-year, in the 30-year, in the 2-year, and the Fed hasn't done shit. The markets don't fucking care what Jerome Powell has to say anymore. Some people, too, do still. They think that he's important. He's not. Listen to Scott Bessent. Harry Singh says, hey, Jesse, what are you going to rotate into once you have sold out of Bitcoin? I mean, I just gave you one thing, cash. And again, I don't totally know when I'm rotating out, but Tesla, cash, TLT, Some other divvy-like plays that are probably tied with MicroStrategy, but timing dependent. Because I got to see how they're playing out. I'll probably slowly add into them. Yeah, a little STRD. Some of these others, maybe. Yes, sir. I don't know which one I want to jump into yet, but there'll probably be something like that. And then I might even be looking at some things to short. Shorting some of the shittiest companies sounds enticing, especially in the Bitcoin crypto space. Shorting the shittiest companies and watching them go down. It might be a lot of fun. Commodities too early? I don't know. I'm not really interested much in commodities. I think Bitcoin is the only commodity that matters. It is the new pricing mechanism. It is the hurdle rate for the world. So I think commodities are something that people will invest more in if they actually believe the commodity is going to go up from demand, not just because they're looking for a place to store value. I think that's going to be a lot of Bitcoin. But again, other things that my thoughts on that could change, except oil, which you already mentioned going lower. Yeah, I don't think oil is going to go up a lot. We're going to talk about that too. Russia is looking to produce more oil if OPEC wants them to. None of that indicates that oil is going to be going higher. Anyone interested in Circle, Oscar, CRWV, Pony, BBAI? Yeah, Circle could go up a little bit more, maybe. I don't know. Or I'm sorry, Galaxy. Circle, I think, is topped. Galaxy is one that could maybe go up. Can you take a look at it? I can't believe I'm doing this. We're going to watch another one here. This is from Sean. This is the crypto portion. So there's two different packages. You get Tom Lee and the FS Insight and stuff, I believe, from Mark Newton, who's also brilliant, but we're going to skip that this morning, talking about NVIDIA. But now we're going to listen to their crypto side, head of crypto strategy, Sean Farrell, who is brilliant. We're going to listen to this real quickly because he might have something to say exactly about what you're talking about. So let's do that just so you guys get a taste of what this is like. Here we go.
Hey everyone, this is Sean Farrell with your crypto comments. Today is Thursday, June 26th. But I want to start by talking briefly about this quote from Trump that was issued after market close. It says that, Trump said that we'll probably just extend short-term debt. Now, I don't know the entire context with which this quote was offered, but if I had to guess,
I mean, this is a conversation between him and Scott Bessent.
It was likely in reference to Jay Powell not wanting to cut interest rates before there is, a better understanding of how tariffs will affect inflation. And really just speaks to what Scott Bessent at the Treasury is currently doing right now, which is foregoing issuing any kind of debt at the long end of the curve. And this, in our view, is constructive.
Which is the same thing that Janet Yellen was doing because she's a hoe and she was prostituting America for years. In order to be able to kick the can down the road. And we have to do that over the short term until we can reboot the economy, get rates down, get the housing market moving, getting foreign direct investment in, getting money flowing, lowering tax obligations, allowing people to be prosperous. We need to kick the can down a little further down the road while lowering the supplemental leverage ratio, while really juicing the economy, get it ripping higher. And then you start to do this stuff with the long-term debt as stablecoin issuance is increasing and as banks have an incentive to buy your treasuries, pulling yields down. That's when you do that shit.
For assets and is, could be called, soft yield curve control. And it also speaks to the fact that, the idea, and we've talked about this a lot, that we're in an era of fiscal dominance. Fiscal deficits as a percent of GDP, or so somewhere between 6 and 7%, and will likely stay there, or perhaps expand into the future. And debt to GDP is north of 120% or so, so it really is fiscal that is in the driver's seat, and puts guardrails around how much the Fed can.
This guy is brilliant. So if you guys aren't getting this, Mark Newton. Obviously Tom Lee, Sean Farrell, and many other people on this service are all brilliant.
Actually affect assets. And
the thing I love about Sean is he's head of digital strategy, but he actually knows everything that's going on in macroeconomics and understands it. And that's a limited amount of people. So it's great to listen to him.
Yeah, long term, it's extremely constructive for Bitcoin. We also received word or news rather that the U.S. and China did indeed finalize a trade understanding that they reached during negotiations in Switzerland last month. This news was from Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. He also mentioned that there are imminent plans to reach agreements with other important trade partners. So Probably need to see some more details on what these deals entail, but overall, certainly a positive with that soft July 9th deadline approaching. So it was no subpar day for spot crypto assets. You can see here at the time of recording, Bitcoin is still trading in that around 107. Alts largely churned or flat or churned lower today. But, like I said the other day, the action in equities still leaves me rather encouraged. I think there's still a good chance that spot crypto plays catch up. We saw Coinbase continue to rip higher. Hopefully everyone got on board this trade, but we're starting to see the market finally price in some of the major developments from Coinbase, such as their perpetual futures launch with USDC used as collateral. And I think the market is also realizing the economic share of Circle's business that Coinbase actually monetizes. So, I think that's great to see. And, maybe we can push up higher and recoup that day one IPO open price. We also received rumors of a potential acquisition. So CoreWeave, the AI darling that recently IPO'd, is in talks to acquire Core Scientific. Core Scientific is a miner within our AI HPC miner basket. They provide, data center infrastructure and power capacity that, companies like CoreWeave need. And, this is not the first time that, rumors of an acquisition were floated. So this happened last June.
Doesn't mean it has to happen, though. That's the thing you got to watch out for.
As well. And that was actually the start of a pretty significant rally in these AI infrastructure.
This could literally be somebody creating a rumor, dishing it out to the Wall Street Journal or whoever ended up pushing it out, and it just to make money from it, or because a friend has a ton of money in it, so it's not as direct insider trading. So you got to watch out for news announcements where they haven't been confirmed. Sometimes they'll fuck with you.
Names, particularly Core Scientific. So we'll see if this deal closes, but we saw Nvidia break out to a new all-time high, and so perhaps we're starting to see some speculative fervor and animal spirits come back into the AI or not come back into, they've been in, but we see a continuation of AI outperforming and see infrastructure companies continue to get bid. And with that in mind, we should see continuation from names like Iron, like TeraWulf, Cipher Mining, Hut 8. These are all companies, these are all Bitcoin miners that have diversified their revenue streams to.
And that's the narrative right now. And it's the reason why I invested in Iron. I actually think the Bitcoin miners are going to hold more value once earnings come in and people see how powerful they are, especially in conjunction with what happens with MicroStrategy and with the narrative changing with all this other stuff behind the scenes, macro-wise, and fundamentally with, the Genius Act, the market structure, everything else we've talked about. So I believe that, but I believe this narrative is strong right now and it's leading, and that's wonderful because again, it gives me more money where I can maybe I take another 50K in profits today because I get a 25% bump, in my play, which again is probably like almost $100,000 in gains today just from Iron. And I'm probably sitting at 320,000 in it right now. So if I get another 20%, 30% bump in Iron today because it starts screaming higher, I can nibble some of that off and buy myself some more treasuries and feel good about a dip. It's nice being diversified, guys. I know people say I'm not diversified. I'm 100% in Tesla. But let me just say this, right? And this is a company I love and a chart that I love with a man that's running it that I love. With cars, I have 5 of these fucking things now. I only had one up until a couple of years ago, or like a year and a half ago. So I love this. I love it. But I'm sorry, if you exited this stock in January of 2021 and you took your 3,100% up from the bottom, you could literally have done stuff for the last 4.5 years in anything else, like a Palantir or that's ridiculous because it's the best performing stock of the year. But in Robinhood, Palantir, anything Bitcoin, just a bunch of other really great companies, and made a shit ton more money. So does it always make sense to be 100% in something and have no other alternatives whatsoever? No, I don't think it does. I don't think it ever does. And don't get me wrong, I'm not like a huge, like you got to own 20 different things, even though I own a lot right now. But it's nice to have some diversity, right? yesterday, I ended up making a bunch of money on a day where I should have lost a bunch because Bitcoin treasuries got crushed, but I didn't. And again, I'm not really in heavily on Tesla right now, even though I love the company. And I think it can go up because, again, I think other things are going to do better. There's faster horses. I want to be a part of that. But even in the Bitcoin space, it's nice to own miners. It's nice to have a diversity between miner types, between Bitcoin holders and HPC. It's nice to have Bitcoin treasuries. It's nice to have options, right? And then I've got, again, some of the stuff that I own. I've got SMCI. I've got ARCG calls. I've got Sol Strategies, which is a Solana treasury. I've got this SBET, which is an Ethereum treasury. I've got just like a lot of different things that can fire off and make me shit tons of money. And if they do that, then I can look toward to rotating into other things and turning multipliers behind it. DLO, Jesus. Yeah, DLO is one I've not made money on. I don't expect to either. My calls were so out of the range. I had calls that were like a 30s, and DLO is taking off for sure. But my call is like in the 34 range or something. That stock's going to have to take off a lot for me to make any money off of that one. But, I try different things, right? I try different things, and I diversify, and it's treated me really well. It's why my account has went up so much over time. Again, I didn't get to hear from just being lucky and owning the right stock, right? I didn't get to hear from being lucky and owning the right stock. I got here from diversification and a lot of research and being willing to rotate and take profits between things. That's how I got here. And my goal, I'm actually looking at making my goal 15 million now. I might not do it, but my target is really 15 million for this year, not 12, even though I have it in here at 12. I'd rather outperform my target than fall underneath of it. But I think I could get 15 to even 20 million this year. Pretty easy if things go the way I expect it to. So this is going to look stupid, right? And I didn't get to this by just owning one stock or YOLOing into something. I'm getting I'm getting it from being strategic, and that's what I suggest that people be. Be strategic. Think about what you're invested in. Don't just hold one thing, because even if you love Tesla, and I've been wrong about timing on it before too. I owned a bunch of Bitcoin. I was really heavy into Bitcoin back in the day, and I sold my Tesla too early. I don't think that's going to be the case here. I'm a lot better at this now than I used to be for macro and fundamentals and financials and all the other stuff. So I think I'm in a really good place right now, but sometimes timing's hard too, which is why it's nice to have diversification. It just helps you. It serves you. I need to move quicker. I'm taking up way too much time today. And I need to turn on my air conditioning because it's fucking hot down here, which means it's probably hot upstairs. My wife and kid are probably still sleeping. So I'm going to do that real fast, and then we're going to get to... Yeah, there we go. And now we're going to get back to it. Jesse, have you reallocated most of your Tesla to BTC treasuries? Yes, I have. And I don't know if I updated that. Let me look where I was last. Tesla was almost non-existent in here, right? It was 8%. It's like not even 8%. And I owe you guys this weekend. I will update this. I know it's been 2 weeks. I'll update it. Metaplanet's a lot smaller. It's about a quarter of my portfolio, maybe a little less than a quarter, maybe 23%, close to $1 million. And ARCG has probably gotten smaller just because it hasn't performed very well. I don't know. Mara has probably gotten smaller. CleanSpark's probably, but I don't even have the list of all of the Bitcoin treasuries I have. I have so many. So I'm going to add that onto here. It looks like I got my SBET that was on here and a little bit at the Smarter Web Company and the Metaplanet. I got a few of them on here, but I need to update this. It is outdated. So I'll work on that. I'll do it fast, I promise. Let's keep going, though. So we got the IMF now classifies Bitcoin as a capital asset. That's important. It's another milestone. We got the White House officially saying the government has an accumulation plan. Let's listen to that real quickly.
Those are top of mind for everybody, working on digital assets in the White House. There will be the forthcoming report on the interagency activities. We've already taken some steps with the SPR. How do we follow that up with the, accumulation plan? So there's no shortage of opportunities and things to do. So after we leave here, I'll get right back to it.
Yeah. So that's great. We're happy to have a plan. We've heard this from a bunch of different people. Real quickly, Daryl said, "Agree, Jesse. I 10x'd my money in Tesla and now up 18x in Palantir. So you beat me. I only made like 600% on Palantir. You need a minimum of 10 positions. I like 15 to 25. I don't know if you need a minimum. You need a couple, right? You need a couple in different areas. Like having a genomics play, not a bad idea. Having a semiconductor play, maybe not a bad idea. Having some software plays, having an AI play, having a Bitcoin strategy. These are like some core fundamental things that you should have. And preferably you have the ones with the best risk to reward or some balance between like the large caps and the smalls. But yeah, you should have a decent amount. You should put thought into it. British Hodl says S&P 500 MicroStrategy, 29% of the adult population of America will have access to passive Bitcoin exposure if MicroStrategy gets added to the S&P. That's awesome. CPA said iron, true story. Iron at $5, nobody wanted to buy it. Iron at 20, everybody does. That's how it always works. That's why you want to be ahead of the curve on the Bitcoin treasuries. And even though they're plummeting today, fast forward a month and you're probably going to be up a lot of money. Matt C., Bitcoin has formed a multi-month bull flag. He's right. It's beautiful. And the measured move puts us a lot higher, which is what he's showing right here, right? It puts us into the 140s and beyond. Swan Bitcoin. I wanted to show this. It says Bitcoin has critical mass. 99.8% is still oblivious. Actually, it's more like 97% are oblivious. Michael Saylor just gave the most important Bitcoin keynote of his life. I agree with this. I wanted to cover this for people who haven't seen it. This is a great breakdown, and I want to show it right now. In the last 11 months, Bitcoin went from fringe to foundation. The White House now backs it. Wall Street has bought in. Companies are, and by the White House, everybody in the administration, and they have companies, right? Their kids have companies, Bitcoin miners, all kinds of shit. Companies are racing to enter the Bitcoin 100. I think we're going to be at 200, 250, probably. I think we'll be at 250 by the end of this year. We'll be in the upper 300s by the end of next year. I think maybe even the 400 range for publicly traded companies that are in the Bitcoin 100. I think that's a huge deal. Even public officials are talking about using BTC to collateralize mortgages. Yes, we literally have people in the White House. We're going to look at that in a second that are talking about doing this. He said, Taylor calls this an inflection point, a transformation so large that even the critics don't realize what's changed. Bitcoin isn't a trade. It's a recapitalization of the system. And I would argue all these Bitcoin treasury companies are helping facilitate that. There's even rumors that maybe Michael Saylor is helping fund Metaplanet's growth in Bitcoin accumulation. Wouldn't it make a lot of sense if Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy ended up helping fund a lot of other Bitcoin treasuries so that they could get some money in the game with these smaller treasury companies since their accumulation is lower and help them grow at a rapid rate, increasing their wealth and their revenue streams and making it to where they can then accumulate more? This seems like a no-brainer in my mind, but I do think, yes, it's a recapitalization of the system, a network reaching critically, and there's no off switch. Texas is launching a $10 million Bitcoin reserve. U.S. Congress is advancing 3 pro-Bitcoin bills. Global regulators are giving the green light, and the crypto industry is admitting Bitcoin is the foundation now. Everything else is going to be built upon it. You can use Bitcoin as collateral for loans in the future. I mean, how cool is this, guys? Most investors still don't get it. They treat Bitcoin like a stock, compare it to gold, wait for a better entry. But Bitcoin is becoming what everything else relies on, the monetary operating system of the digital age. I do think that this cycle is different. I don't know exactly what it is yet, but I think I'm coming up with a more clear picture over day by day, and I think I'll work to articulate that more with you guys as time goes on. It says, and Saylor's not talking about price, he's talking about physics. Bitcoin equals pure economic energy, no CEO, no supply chain, no debt, no counterparty, no kill switch, just value moving at the speed of light. Forget the idea that it's too late. Saylor slams this mindset with one of the biggest analogies yet. It's not too late to use fire or use the internet or use electricity. Bitcoin is the great technology. It's never too late to do the right thing. And if you look at the S-curve on Bitcoin, which we'll be doing in a second, it's fucking crazy. He said, yes, this time is different, and that's not hopium, it's history. Fire was different, electricity was different, the internet was different. Bitcoin is different for the same reason they were. It fundamentally changes how the world works. The system is rebuilding itself on top of Bitcoin. Every signal says we passed the tipping point, but the majority still sees it as a bubble, which makes this the moment you're in right now. One of the greatest opportunities of your life. Ready to go beyond dollar cost averaging. Swan Private is serious, and he does a little plug there. But this was a beautiful summary of a very great video in Prague. If you guys haven't seen it, you need to see it. It's definitely one worth watching. It's a really great video. Watch the entirety of it. Anyway, let me go back here. I'm still in this one. So let's go down. What is this? Oh, just talking about Bitcoin miners on the 24th here. I was talking about how they were doing really well and outperforming again. And they did even better after this, right? Also, I put, what the fuck? Oh, well, the more the merrier. Somebody did a post off of this, and I thought it was great. So the Lingerie Fighting Championships announces a Bitcoin strategy and will buy 230,000 worth of BTC and up to 2 million in the next 6 months. I probably wouldn't put a bunch of money into this one, but somebody did a really good post off of it. I want to see if I could find it in here. It was so good. It was so good. Oh, maybe I can't find it. But they did the meme of somebody saying hey, like the whole meme about like, Dad, how did you get rich? And he says, I invested in a lingerie fighting championship company. And they're like, epic, legend. It was really great. Bitcoin historian, billionaire Philip Laurent tells CNBC that every day he wakes up wondering why he doesn't own more Bitcoin. Let's listen to this. He said high net worth individuals are getting ready to spend a bunch on Bitcoin.
Then we added Bitcoin. We thought of Bitcoin as a company. Today, I think Bitcoin is 2 trillion. And we're like, well, could it get to also 4 or 5 trillion? Obviously, Bitcoin's not a company. It'd be like saying if gold's a company, but I thought it was interesting as a new asset.
Yeah, right. Market cap.
Market cap, 2 trillion is so big.
When did you get involved in Bitcoin?
You know, I've not gotten involved with Bitcoin, and I wake up every day at 3 in the morning, and I'm like, why am I such an idiot? What have I been waiting for, not being involved in it? And it just goes up and up. In the past, I think this is interesting, the retail investors, they were much faster at getting involved with Bitcoin than the institutional ones. And I always thought Bitcoin's amazing, but it's double or triple the volatility of the NASDAQ. NASDAQ's already pretty volatile. Why do I need to deal with this added volatility? Recently, Bitcoin, when it went down during the tariff, only went down as much as NASDAQ. So it seems the volatility as an asset class is coming down, which I thought was pretty interesting.
But given your sort of thesis, do you say to yourself, even at this point in the ball game, if you think it's going to double or triple and going to be part of the NASDAQ 100, if you were to think of it as a company?
Yes, I have to think about it.
That you should own it now?
It's going to be a part of the fucking S&P, motherfucker. It's already a part of this shit. He doesn't even understand whatever.
Yes, I have to think about it now. Do I own it now? Do I own it tomorrow, in a few days? But every day, I do think, why do I not own it? And I think to be a good investor, it's not just like owning the obvious stock, but sometimes you have to change your mind and you have to just say, well, I made a mistake and I'm changing my mind. And
we'll see if he actually does that. But hey, it's a good thing that he's starting to understand that, right? I said on the 24th, and it's dropped even more since this. So that lets you know things can always go lower over the short term, right? If you weren't interested in getting invested in Bitcoin treasury companies but haven't found a good entry, today's probably that day. SWC was at 380. Let's see how much worse it's got since then. 1 second. Today, it is at 220. So actually, we're bouncing. Interesting, guys. It's already happening. So look at this. Look at this. We touched down here, and now we're starting to bounce. I need to adjust these lines. They're just a little bit off. But again, we already dropped, guys. SWC dropped 70%. So it's already had one of those two. Actually, a little more than 70, it looks like. 71% almost. So again, we're seeing this washout. All these wicks, guys, are telling us we're hitting a bottom. Not just that. I posted about SWC today. I want to show you guys something super quick. So I said today, hey guys, I said, here's what's happening. One, so we're dropping, and you can see where we've already dropped. We've already seen a 65% drop in the stock, right? And I said, hey, we could drop even more. And it looks like in pre-market we've done that. We're down to 275. I'm going to have to call these motherfuckers. I might have to actually dump out, guys, before we open so that I can get try and get a call in to Ally to see if I can buy this stock, because we've already closed. Based on where we are right now, guys, we'll have already closed. Down here underneath this last fib level before you just go down to zero. And so we'll have seen a 70% drop in this stock. I said, hey, there's like 18% downside. We're actually seeing 20% in pre-market, 22% downside. But look to the risk to reward here. So I said, hey, we had 184% upside that I believe we could see in the next month. But with where we're at right now, that turns into 265%. So I'm excited. I want to buy this fucker. I want to buy this for sure. So I'm probably going to bail before 8:30 today, guys. I gotta get my trades on. It's one of the hard things about doing this is trying to tell people what you're doing, not have them front run you. Find a time to be able to buy what you need to do and talk to people at the same time. BINZF, I haven't researched that one. I really can't say anything about it. Concilium is down too. It's actually down a lot this morning. It's down another third. So this is another one I'm looking to buy. I'm probably looking maybe like 35 into Concilium, and then maybe like 50 to 100 in the Smarter Web Company. If I can buy it. I don't even know if I can buy it today. I got to find out if I can. But yeah, so this is it's down. Concilium is down. Where is it even at right now? It is down 27%. So it is down 81% from its recent high. So people getting fucked on this one. If you bought this thing at the top, ouch, 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 ouch. I think I was down about 30% on my position heading into today because I'd bought the dip. I was down 30.21% on my position. But it dropped another 30. So I'll probably be down like 45% or something on this thing, maybe even 50. And I'll buy that dip, and that will lower my cost average and make it to where I'm down even less. So I'm excited about this, though. This is stupid. This is really, really low. Just upside, guys, on Concilium to get back to where we are. If they do a good job and can execute, just getting back to the previous high would put it at 420%. 420 sounds like a good number. It sounds like a lovable number. I'm going to do something real quick, guys. I'm going to jump. I got to pee a little early today, ahead of schedule. Because I have drank so much coffee. I've had 3 chai lattes, a coffee, and a full glass, 2 glasses of water. So I got to hit the restroom. So give me 1 second. I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to let you listen to Dipshit Kramer for a second. I'm going to grab another coffee. Give me my 3 minutes here, and then we'll get going on the rest here. Wow, today's going fast. We talked a lot. 1 second.
For the country, and is a patriot who is being denigrated daily. They don't even care. They don't know who they know what they see. They use Amazon. Amazon gets better and better. They're trying to figure out whether they should switch from Google and Gemini to Perplexity or ChatGPT. I am not going to neglect how they think, because that's suicidal. Okay. Send me an invitation to my funeral.
Is there anything that changes their thinking then? I mean, and again,
well, you can't.
July 9th is not far away. At this point, it doesn't appear there may be a big change in trade
iced
policy.
July 9th. He iced July 9th.
He, being the president, did seem to take that off the table.
Ever since my friend Peter Navarro seems to have disappeared.
Where is Navarro?
I just think that there is where Trump won. Trump wants the stock market higher. There are a lot of people who believe that he can do what he wants in nuclear. So the nuclear stocks go higher, that they can do that Palantir and the software companies will make a big change in the country. I recommended the other day, David, on Stop Trading.
Yes.
I said that AeroVironment at 180 seemed cheap. Now, what day was that?
Well, you did it on the Mad Dash with me. I think it was either Wednesday or Tuesday. I believe it might have been
I thought
Wednesday.
It was cheap. It's at 280. That's 3 days. 180 to 280.
Wow.
Why? Because this is something that young people buy. They don't sit there and say, "Ooh, it's a little overvalued on my Black Scholes model."
Jim, you had a good call on that
No, I
one.
didn't have a good call.
No, you didn't.
I said that it was going to be like Palantir.
Yeah.
It had an anti-drone drone.
Well, I know. You talked to me about the radar, the laser. The
laser is the way to.
Yes,
well,
the laser.
Their laser
to
make
take out the other
$60,000 drones. These guys say we can take down a $500 drone with $2 $2
right.
$2 a laser.
Scuba, thank you for the $10. Let me kill this. Do we care about what he's saying? No, we don't. All right. We got to keep rocking and rolling. There's so much going on today. Again, to subscribers, I post on X first, and then I post onto Discord next. So if you guys want to see what I'm buying today, you can check on there. And let's just keep rolling through here real quickly. I need to get through some more stuff at least. Let's see here. So again, I just wanted to illustrate, I guess we kind of did get through the Bitcoin side of things. Let's jump over to U.S. economic data. I want to get to that fast too. What kind of news or catalyst would start the drop down of Palantir or World Peace? Maybe we're seeing it, right? Like, I'll hit this real quick. So Palantir, guys, I just want to put this out there. Palantir is actually up 2,342% from its low that occurred. And again, I told people to buy over here. I exited right about here. It went a lot higher than I thought it was going to. Obviously, it's well into the banana zone. If you look at the fib here, this is fucking ridiculous. The company is it's a third of $1 trillion, guys. This is overvalued in just about every way. And if you look down in the bottom here, you have this bearish divergence on the RSI that's been going on the weekly time frame since December of this last year. So 7 months of bearish divergence. The chance of breaking above that is pretty limited, honestly. Like, this is fucking insane. Now, could it go higher? I don't know. Crazy shit can happen, guys. But if you've made 1,800, 2,000 plus % off of this thing and you haven't taken any profits, I think just get ready for your Tesla moment. Get ready for your Tesla moment where this thing trades sideways for years because of how much it's benefited over the short term. And so if you don't care about your money going anywhere for like years, then cool. It's a great opportunity for you to just sit there and focus on other things in your life while you're not making money. T. Hutch, is there any BTC treasury companies you can buy on Robinhood? I don't really think so. Do you guys know of any? Aspets on there? Maybe CCCM. You could check that one. That's the Andrew Pompliano one. Sometimes some of the reverse SPACs are an easy way to get listed in a bunch of different places. So I've got about 300K, I want to say, in that one. You might be able to get that too. Commercial business is great. Government contracts are all great. But again, you just have to, eventually things come back to earth. All right, U.S. economy. Letnick says U.S.-China trade truce signed, 10 deals imminent per Bloomberg. Besant said, I asked Congress to remove Section 899 from the tax bill. More data supporting that case for the tariff war is being walked back on, said the short bear. He said, Section 899 as proposed, the big beautiful bill aims to increase U.S. federal income and withholding tax rates on certain income earned by foreign individuals or entities from discretionary foreign or discriminatory foreign countries. So again, this is just stuff where we might walk back because we want to be friends with China and friends with the world and get it to where the world economies are doing better. I agree with this. I think this is probably going to get walked back, and I think that's a good thing for markets. James E. Thorne said, China deal finalized. Where are all the Cassandras? Sorry, folks, no end of the world. Tons of cash on the sidelines, and Wall Street masters of the universe sold the bottom. A new bull run has been confirmed. Bull market stress about to kick in. Yes. We already looked at this one, talking about all the benefits and things that are going to happen. We got breaking, the S&P futures officially enter a new all-time high territory. I think in the market open, actually, we should end up hitting a new high. Maybe we take a breather today, too, just to end the week. The regular traditional markets have done really well. Bitcoin can consolidate one last time before launch. It's all good. Marty Party said, fire Jerome Powell. Look at inflation versus bond yields. There's another agenda in the Fed. It's not there to support Americans and the current Fed regime. There is no data, rhyme or reason for rates to remain high while inflation plummets. I do think inflation will see just a little bit of an uptick, but again, it's not an issue. And we should be lowering rates. We should be juicing the economy. We want to bubble it back up again so that we can keep a bear market from happening. We're not in a position in the United States and in the world, really, especially China and other countries, to have a bear market. We're not in that position. There's nobody that can afford one anymore. That ended after 2008. It's much worse now. Andre Steno Larson said, huge jump in U.S. macro surprises today. 18 index points, exactly as pinpointed by our leading index. July, with June data, is going to be full of positive surprises. Cross-border Capital was asked, mate, still expecting liquidity to turn negative late 2025, or can we dance a bit longer? I am super close to the door in any case. He said extended by Treasury quantitative easing. So he's saying that the Treasury, between the SLR and everything else, is making it is making it to where liquidity could extend out past 2025. He was saying for a while he thought it was going to end the middle of this year. Then he extended that out even further. And now he's saying 2026. So this is good. This is what we want to hear. Global liquidity going up is not a bad thing. Tom Lee said yes, talking about my buddy Jake here from Colorado, talking about TLT bond prices looking like they could break out. I hope they don't. I don't know that they will yet. Sounds like I need to move some Palantir to miners. Maybe. I like treasuries better. Give Jesse a thumbs up. Yes, Stubble. I agree. Colin Rugg said, President says his administration has signed a trade deal with China. So this is the recording of it earlier. People were asking for a source. Said, remember a few months ago, the press saying, do you really have anybody of any interest? Well, we just signed China with yesterday. It was actually 2 days ago. On that same note, GE Appliances invests $500 million to move production from China to Louisville, Kentucky. Yes, manufacturing, dollar down, manufacturing better. We love it. We want to see more of it. We want to see the bottom ends of America paying less taxes, getting to keep more of their taxes if they're working overtime. And we want to see them getting jobs that pay really well because we fucked these people forever. We put them on meth. We put them on fentanyl. Now it's time to give them fucking jobs and let them live good lives, or at least let the next generation have that. Archie is now above 200 daily moving average and 50. Yeah, we should take a look at that in a second. Micro to macro, second highest capital goods order reading minus defense and aircraft in 3.5 years. So we had the best launch in United States non-defense capital goods orders. U.S. orders, capital goods, excluding aircraft, closely watched metric for a proxy for business spending plans. So business spending looking like it's going up a lot, most in 3.5 years. We like that. And durable goods numbers in the 10 years, manufacturing seems to be kicking off. I said new orders for manufactured goods in the U.S. jumped. Now, this is including aircraft and some other stuff that brought the number even higher. But guys, this was the most that we'd seen in 10 fucking years. I think that says something. And again, no taxes on overtime tips, unleashes American energy, permanent child tax credit expansion for 40 million plus families, keep double standard deduction, expand tax breaks for seniors, interest deduction on loans for American-made cars, funds border security, ends burdensome regulation and cuts red tape, prevents the largest tax hikes in U.S. history. That's what's going to be coming with the big, beautiful bill. That seems like rocket fuel. Ryan Detrick, that de-escalated quickly. Yeah, we looked at that the other day. It's just talking about how the net percentage, say global recession is likely, plummeted off a cliff, and all of that's looking really good. And again, it's just all looking good, guys. It's all looking good. Can we see pre-market quote on OTCs? Like we just kind of looked at them. So let's jump over here real quick. Metaplanet. Let's see where we're sitting with Metaplanet. Metaplanet down 1%, not down a lot. Finding a bottom. We do have on Metaplanet, guys, a daily gap over here. So could we get a gap down to the upper nines? Yes, we're so close. Why not? It just seems, wouldn't that be a good flush out and then get a nice wick up? That would be a good flush out in my opinion. Let's look at some other stuff. SWC just got obliterated this morning, but, and we'll look at the actual UK market. I think this is what's going to happen in the US really quickly, which is why I want to get that phone call in 12 minutes. Because they already saw $2.47 and now it's back up into the 290s. So we could get a flush out where we close that gap in SWC, the smarter web company. I think that's likely to happen, and that's good stuff. We want to see a flush out, but I want to be ready to buy. So that's what I'm going to be doing in 11 minutes. SBET's down 1.69% in pre-market. That's that Ethereum play. Consilium, we already talked about it. It's down 31% in pre-market in the Canadian market. Which one? I don't know. But it's already fallen a shit ton, 81%. This is a buy zone. I mean, it can go down further. It actually is dropping a little bit right now. It can go down further. It could go down to like 0.17 or 1.8. I'd probably drop 50K in at 1.8. And then probably 100 in Smarter Web Company if it's down heavy this morning. So again, all of those are very exciting. Somebody did say about ARC-G. Let's see, where did I put that? Where is ARC-G? Where is ARC-G? We should look at ARC-G real quickly here. So it is having a resurgence. I don't know though if the moving averages are lined up. I should probably get them in view. 50, 200, 100. Okay. So on the daily, we are above the 200 moving average, trying to hold it. We did over here though, as well. But it looks, this is a really good looking pattern. This looks like a left shoulder, head, right shoulder, measured move from this. This looks really good. I mean, this does, I don't know. There's so many things I want to add to. This does look like a breakout to the 34 range, which would be huge for this. It would be huge for this stock. This would be the highest level we've seen since August of 2023. So 2 years ago, roughly. It would be huge. And really going back, potentially August, July. Yeah, so that would be a huge move that will make us a bunch of money. Maybe I end up buying some of my further out calls on this one too as well. I might have to think about it because you're right. It is looking better, and I think it's undervalued. ASST time. Get that ass and titties up in here. Where is that one? Yeah, so that one's already up 0.5%. This one already fell a lot. It could fall more, though, because, again, there's a little bit of some gappage over here going down to the 350 range. I don't know, man. If all this stuff drops, I might be liquidating a decent chunk of my IRA. I don't want to, though. I want to keep as much of that as I can for more firepower for buying more. So we'll see. Jesse, time check, 10 minutes to market open for that phone call. Thank you, sir, for keeping me on top of it. But yeah, so we're down essentially in pre-market. This thing, if it drops down to there, it's down 75% from its high. But it could just stop here. It doesn't have to close the gap. That's 70% already that it was down. So this one looks good too. And this is one, I believe, if I'm correct, remind me, guys, is affiliated with Vivek Ramaswamy, or at least I should say the company that it's going to be merging with is affiliated with Vivek Ramaswamy. Strive, I believe it is. David Fleming, squeaky wheel gets the oil. Jesse, can you take a look at Galaxy? Yeah, everybody's talking about Galaxy. I actually don't have this one on my list. Maybe I'll just pull it up real quick, though. I need to share all these. That is one thing I'm going to do this weekend, guys. I'm finally going to get all my charts updated on Discord, including what I'm putting in right now. So that'll be a good thing. So Discord's going to become a lot more valuable. I've been updating a lot of charts, but I didn't get them all in there, all this new stuff. So it'll be nice to do that. Galaxy Digital, here we go. So this does look like a good pattern. I mean, we're above peak volumes. It's 7.73 billion market cap. I don't know. That's interesting. It's not crazy high. I don't know anything about this company, really. But I don't know, a measured move. This thing could double pretty quickly and get up to 15 billion. I don't know if I love the play. Let's look at this though. We'll do a trend-based fib extension real quick. Save that. Just to see kind of where we can max out on this thing. To me, there's better multipliers for your Bitcoin, in my opinion. I mean, the golden retracement zone is at 39. That's a doubling. So to me, I don't care. Real quickly here. What time is it? 8:23. Let me just see. So we got through U.S. economic data. We didn't get through everything else. I wanted to talk about Metaplanet doing huge purchases. I wanted to talk about SWC. We'll just have to save this for Monday. I'll try and focus more on it then. Just too much talking today. But there's so many good things happening with this company. Andrew is going to be talking today at 12:30. They're going to have a YouTube video, UK time. I don't know what that is, US. Somebody look it up. Again, I think this is I think it's a great Bitcoin treasury, and I'm hopefully get to add another 100K on that today. Follow me on X if you want to see what happens there. I do have 2,834 people sub to me on X now. That's amazing, guys. Paying $5 a piece. I guess one more, 35. And we're almost at 90,000 or 89,000 followers, getting close to that 90. So if you guys could share out my content, and again, this post right here, if you guys can like and comment and share this top post, it was shared by 46 people. I really appreciate that. And thank you today, guys, to everybody that was here. I don't know how many people we ended up getting. It's a Friday, so it's a hard day to get people to pay attention. But we almost got 1,100 people here, and that's really sweet. So thank you guys very much. UK is 5 hours ahead. Okay, great. Thank you for that. So again, I think I'm going to probably bail now so that I can get ready for that call. I got like 5 minutes, it looks like. Hey, Polly from Invest Answers. Polly from Invest Answers? What do you mean Polly from Invest Answers? I saw Polly on here. Or is Polly a play? Is Polly a play? Is that something that James is talking about? Let me know. Is it a crypto or is it a Bitcoin of some kind? Bitcoin play or treasury? Is he even doing treasuries? Is James doing treasuries, guys? Or am I ahead of James on treasuries? Oh no, there's Polly. I thought Polly was a person. Okay. What do you mean from Invest Answers? Are you on his channel a lot? You're welcome, Miss Lawfi. What's up, Julie? Yes, James is going treasuries. Good. Okay. Does he have any specific ones that he's really into? I mean, obviously MSTR. He's been there. He was one of the first. Metaplanet. I'm assuming he's in Metaplanet. I don't know if he's dialing any further up the risk curve. Good to hear. Does he have favorites? Can you guys tell us what his favorites are? I might have to watch and see. He is heavy into Solana. He still loves his Solana. ASST and SEP, no Metaplanet. Oh, really? All right. Well, I mean, I own the asset one, and I'm looking at SEP. I just think SEP, I don't like it from a technical level, and I talked about that yesterday. That's why I haven't bought yet, and it might end up not doing that bad, but this scares the shit out of me. This is such an ugly technical pattern. But again, SEP and the XXI merger, maybe it's undervalued. It is 350 million. They're going to have a ton of Bitcoin. I don't know what the distribution looks like. Maybe I should watch a video for James in regard to this. James thinks most treasuries are overbought due to MNAV. Yeah, but I mean, that's what makes them special. That's what made MSTR. MSTR was overbought for a long time. That doesn't really matter. The being overbought is actually a blessing because it allows them to be able to accumulate more. As long as they have a strong growth strategy, they're growing consistently, and they're doing it with good terms, and they're growing their marketing. If they're doing all these different things, and even if they don't do that, some of these treasuries are just going to explode because people have irrational exuberance. So SEP is undervalued. You cannot bet against Jack Mullers and Brandon Lutnick. Yeah, that's true. I agree with that. I love Jack. I mean, Jack is such a badass OG, dude. I would love to interview him or hang out with him. I think we're very much similar people. He'd probably be wearing a baseball cap and a hoodie, and I can do that. James is heavy MSTR. Cool. Before you leave, please check SBET. Yeah, sure. I can do that. MKBG, thank you for joining and being a member for 8 months, bro. Is ABCL a good buy, sir? I don't know. I can try and take a look real quick. I got to get ready for this other thing, though, too. CINGF. Is that the way it's spelled? I mean, it's CINGF. Yeah, you're right. Yep, Coincilium is down. Good. I'm going to end up buying on that one. Maytag, thanks you for all your work. Hit the like button, everybody. Yeah, so here's SBET. So SBET, here's my bet on SBET. We're at peak volumes on the local time frame here for this thing going back since the beginning of its existence. And they've been buying a bunch of Ethereum, and I think it's a steal here at the 626 million market cap versus where it was. Because again, Ethereum hasn't really run. This is just a bet on Ethereum. May 27th, this thing was valued at $123 a share, and now it's valued at less than 10. So this is a bet for me that Ethereum ends up doing okay, and that there's a narrative on Ethereum treasuries that kicks off at some point. Probably won't be Bit Digital, or maybe it will. I don't know. It's getting crushed right now. But I do think that could be a narrative that does all right. I'm going with the first mover. ABCL, is it a good buy? I don't know. I'll just pull this up real quick if I have it. If I don't have it, I probably don't have time to add it yet, bro. Oh, I do have it. Okay. Yeah, so, wow. I don't know the financials of this one. I'd have to look them up. They look horrible. This is a biomed company, and so they don't make any money at all. I always hate that. Let me just pull it up real quickly, and then I'm going to bounce because we got 1 minute until open, guys, and I got to try and get my buys in here, and then I'll post them right away when I have it. But I hate it when companies lose a bunch of money. $46 million lost with $4 million in revenue, non-existent revenue since 2022, really. It's just burning money, negative cash flows. I can't get excited about any of this, bro. I'm sorry. Anyway, I got to go. I love you guys. Thank you for hitting the like. If you could comment on it after the video, all that stuff is awesome. I really appreciate you guys. Daniel, Deb, hey, Jesse, any chance you can add MT? Yes, I'm going to do all that. All those. All the treasuries are getting added. Everything that I've recently done for charting, I'm going to try and get added to the Discord and updated. Anyway, I love you guys. I got stuff to buy.